do me a favour, can you
Love you too.
Hello and welcome to Damn It Vacant, a wrestling podcast. I am Ellis here with John and a very, very special guest, Rick Markus, former OPW champion. Lost the belt a couple of weeks ago, which I'm sure we'll get into. But how are you, Rick? Thank you for joining us.
Not so bad now, a couple of weeks, and the dust has settled a little bit, and I'm not aching as much now. So, yeah, good. I can't complain. I could, but I won't.
No, thanks for joining us. Joe sends his apologies. He did want to be here, but unfortunately can't be.
No, tell me it's unacceptable. Do you know what I mean? Like, you putting other engagements ahead of the God of Morecambe. It's unacceptable.
We said that to him, but I don't know, man.
So,
I don't know what he's been up to.
Unless something bad's happened, then obviously, like, do you know what I mean? Deal with what you need to do.
Yeah, he will be editing that. So he'll see it.
I'm joking. I hope everything's okay.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it is. Thanks for joining us. You called yourself the God of Morecambe there. Do you still consider that now you don't have a championship?
And do you know what? I never thought I was a God of Morecambe anyway. Do you know what I mean? To be honest, it was just the easiest way to get under the skin of the people. It was it made my life a lot easier. Yeah, King of Morecambe maybe, but probably not God. You know.
So you got some humility then, yeah, only King.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You know, I'm not just a normal person of Morecambe. Like,
oh God, no.
Maybe not a God. You know, but yeah, I won't be using that name ever again. I don't think.
Fair enough. I do like it when you soak in the crowd's adulation and do the old like Tommaso Ciampa backpacks, and there's a little cheeky thumbs up at the last show to a couple of people.
It's hard not to get carried away.
Riles them up.
Yeah, I love it. I love doing all that kind of stuff. I believe, like, when it comes to wrestling, if you can get a reaction without having to do anything that's ridiculously physical, then you're doing your job right. You know, you're there to entertain the paying customer. I think a lot of wrestlers forget that sometimes, and they're too busy trying to do the coolest, fanciest stuff they can do. But if you could tell a story, keep people engaged, keep people coming back, which they do at Morecambe, you know, it's one thing we've never really struggled with at Odyssey is the fact that, you know, from knowing what goes on behind the scenes, and that our retention rate for tickets is at 80+%. So, you know, we do incredibly well, and that comes down to the storytelling and people wanting to see what comes next. And I personally believe that's what makes wrestling special. I know that's what it was for me growing up. You know, as a kid, I always wanted to see what Stone Cold was going to do next, not what move was X wrestler going to do next week. And yeah, so that's kind of my ethos on wrestling.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I enjoy coming down from Edinburgh for it when I can. So that says a lot, I think.
That's it.
Does that make you the longest travelling attendee at Morecambe, or do you know anyone else who comes further?
I think we've had some that have come from Scotland, but I don't actually know. Half of them in the crowd don't drive or work or have teeth. So,
or do you step up?
I'm only joking. I don't mean to get any of them. I'm past it now. I've moved on.
Old habits die hard, though, right?
No, I can't help it. It's been a long day. We're recording in the evening now. It's been a long day. I'm past caring now.
Well, it was Pat that, I mean, when we got in, I don't know if you've listened to the review pod that me and Joe did, we walked in, it was like, something like 5 or 6 rows of chairs behind us there. It was like, that's a bit unusual. And we turned around about 15 minutes later, it was like back to the bar, and we're like, wow.
It was mental, wasn't it? It was, I think it was definitely top 3 highest attendance. I think the very first show we did set sail, I think we had more. and there might have been one or two others throughout where we had a few more, but it was definitely one of our highest attended. There was actually an issue with the venue because there was too many people for the amount of security guards that were on, apparently, for fire regulations or something. She came back to there. I was like, "Well, George, they do kick 30 people out. Do you know what I mean?" Like, yeah, so that had people panicking a bit backstage. And it was well attended. It was a great show backstage, and the lad kept coming back going, "You got more chairs? You got more chairs?" I said, "Yeah, they're in that room." I said, "I can't help you. What do you want me to do? Carry some out?" So,
that would break character a little bit if we saw you.
It's like sometimes, because I sometimes watch out of that side door in the corner by, like, if you got the stage in front of you and that door on the right, I sometimes watch out of there, and then like people, they look around and notice you, like, "Oh Christ, I'm gonna have to get out the way now."
So I spotted you up in the commentary booth at one point. You had your hood up.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my clients actually was in the crowd, so I was talking to him, and then another lad was like queuing behind him to talk to me. I was like, Jesus Christ, I was only trying to see how many numbers were here. It's good fun. So what did you think of the show? In fact, I know what you thought of the show because I listened to your review.
Listened to the review, yeah. Like I said, it was so it's always a good time, and one of the shows, obviously, your biggest one in it. So
we kind of do it on the same scheduling style of WrestleMania with Rumble and then the biggest show, and like, I think it's a great way to do it, like, because people are already excited about wrestling at that time, so kind of like trying to shoehorn your own version of that in June and get people excited for that when it's WrestleMania season, it makes no sense, really. If don't get me wrong, if you're an indie wrestling promotion where it's like you just put on bangers of matches and it's like not very much story based, and you've got huge names coming over for one main show each year, then that's fair enough. Do you know what I mean? But like for what we do when it's story based, and like, why wouldn't you go with the model that's worked for 40 odd years?
Yeah, absolutely. And with the time difference, it's not like you're running against them. You know, people can go home potentially and watch WrestleMania if it's on the same night. I think you've done that before, haven't you, Alice?
Yeah, and then this show was meant to be on the same day as Mania, but it got moved when they went to Vegas.
Yeah.
This year was the only time where we can I swear?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, this time was the only time we kind of fucked it, was at the Rumble, because it was in Saudi. So the Rumble was on at the same time as our Rumble.
Yeah.
I know.
So like some of the wrestlers were backstage with the phones watching the actual Royal Rumble. So I was glad that I were in the Rumble match, to be honest, this time. Like, too many moving parts. And I got to wrestle Joey, so I was buzzing.
Yeah, there was a young lad next to me who opened Netflix and got the Rumble on, and I was like, "Wait," I said, one, most importantly, watch what's in front of you, because that's what you're here for. I said, and two, I'm trying to avoid spoilers, so I ended up swapping seats with my son because I can't be next to that child.
I actually managed to avoid spoilers, even though like backstage there were people watching it. I actually managed to avoid the spoilers.
Well done.
So
just remember, next year it's the same thing, but for WrestleMania. So.
Oh yeah, when they book the dates. So I won't be there anyway, I don't think.
Well, do you want to go into that a little bit more? My son at tea today, I was like, "Have you got any questions for Rick?" Because he was like, "You recording?" I was like, "I'm interviewing Rick Markus," and he liked you. He gave me a few questions to ask you, but one of them was about that. Are you coming back?
Honestly, do you want the honest answer, or do you want the Rick Markus answer?
Do both.
Dealer's choice.
Yeah.
Dealer's choice. Rick Markus will say, "You never know when I'm going to turn up," or whatever. I genuinely don't know. I don't know at this point. I'm not going to say I'm retired because I've done that before. You know, the boy that cried wolf. Like, no one believes me if I say it anyway anymore, because I've done it about 4 times. You know, one of them was genuine. The other ones have been for story. Like the whole, when I retired a couple of years ago and then came back and did the unsanctioned and everything like that. That was something we'd had planned for 2 years.
Yeah.
This time, like you guys know how much in detail and how far ahead we plan stuff. We adapt things as we go, obviously, but like,
oh yeah,
like we know generally the structure for 18 months, 2 years on in some cases, and right now there's nothing in there for me, So take that as you will, because I know that we've tried to swerve you and stuff before.
Successfully.
Fucking bastard. That show last year. What a show.
Nailed that. It was funny because even in the build up to that, we were like, do you think we'll get them? Like, on about you guys. And so we were buzzing with that. Straight up answer, I don't know. And it's not, and if it is, it's not going to be anytime soon. For a few reasons, really.
Yeah, fair enough. And so, if that is your last match at Odyssey, talk us through what that meant to you. The one last fight with Ryan, but like, it possibly could be one last fight for Rick Markus, full stop as well.
Yeah, it was a special night. I think I haven't watched it back yet because we haven't had the footage back yet. But it felt to me at the time while we were doing it, and the way the reaction went at the end, and the build up to it, and the video package before it, I think it was my best ever wrestling match. Period. In like me 11 years, in my 11 years doing it, I think from a like, there's been matches where I've done more crazy stuff when I was a bit younger and things like that, where it might have been more action packed, if you will, but from a story standpoint, from the opponent standpoint, the promotion, the town, the championship, everything just aligned, and it was just it was the perfect send off, and that's why I'm not rushing to make a decision on what's next, really, because there's nothing. I don't think anything will top that for me. Not at 38 years old. I don't think. And anything will top that for me. So I've got a lot to think about. I've got to look after my health as well, obviously. Like you guys know, in my personal life, I'm a coach, so I can't be. I've already got a lot of injuries that I kind of carry and manage and bits like that. So I can't afford to figuratively and literally can't afford to be hurting myself. So I don't know what the future holds, but that was very, very special. It was 5 years of story. Like me and Ryan been friends for 7 years. When all this, we're going to go at the top together and all this. These were things that were genuinely said on Zoom calls in 2020 when we couldn't put the show on for a year. We were meant to launch in August 2020, but then obviously because of COVID and everything, we didn't. And the calls we were having, and we were doing online promo classes with Chris Brooker, doing that's when we came up with Born Ready stuff. All this happened in COVID, and we were like, and I spoke to him, and I said, they're going to go mental for you. And it's like, I don't think he realised, and you've probably heard him say this on podcasts, I don't think he realised just how mental they were going to go for him. And so to run that story, to start off as even though we didn't tag team together that often, it was like, we always saw Born Ready as, like, I'm not into superhero shit, but he is. But I
know we talk about it.
Like an assemble of that kind of thing where they come together to do what they need to do and then go their own way and do their own thing, but have each other's back. That was always the way. And then as things went on, obviously, like, his popularity went through the roof. Like, don't get me wrong, I was always one of the more popular ones. But he just skyrocketed to a different stratosphere, and then it was it was time to pull the trigger, which was a fun night.
Oh, that was a fun night. Yeah, I was there for that one.
Yeah, so
I had the best time.
Yeah, so were our wives as well, which was funny.
Was that War on the Shore 2 years ago, wasn't it?
War on the Shore 24, yeah. Yeah, so that was... we did our first one-on-one match against each other at Superstar Wrestling, which is like one of the branches of TNT. And that was in like 2021, back end of 2020. Yeah, it was just after Set Sail. So we'd done Set Sail in 2021. And one of our friends that we became close to through, because we got close to me and Ryan through doing the 36-week physique, like body transformation program that Nush run. That quite a few wrestlers were on it at the time. We became close through that, and that was like before COVID, going into COVID. And then we made really good friends with a lad called Mark, who was he was in a wheelchair. But he was a beast, you know what I mean? And he was just a lovely guy. And when I started PT, and he traveled through to come and train with me and everything, like incredible guy. And he came and watched Set Sail, and then very sadly, about a month later, he passed away. And we were scheduled to do our first match against each other. So we brought Mark's wife to the venue to watch the match, because she knew how close we were with him, and that was our like first match. So that was really special. And Greenwood actually refereed that. So our last match against each other, Greenwood refereed that as well, which was, you know. And then in that 5 years, I don't even know how many times we wrestled each other one-on-one. At least 10, I'd say.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was special. It was a special night. I just think the rivalry, you know, the fights we had against each other. You know, Greg said, you know, one of the best rivalries he's seen in Morecambe in 25 years. And
that's high praise from a historian.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He wrote the book twice. You
twice.
know,
yeah, Joe's got them both.
So for him to say that, it does mean a lot. And he doesn't just say it either. You know, when we went backstage after the last, he was so excited. He said it felt special, and you know, it did to all of us. So yeah, it was a real special night.
Yeah, the two of you have got insane chemistry, and like I said in the review pod, like the story you've told, like often in wrestling, you steal each other's finishes, but it was always kicked out. It's like it's not as powerful if that person's not done it. And I absolutely love the fact that you lost to the spear, and that you kind of showed your hand of what you were going to do by you had the knuckle dusters on, didn't you? So that obviously told Ryan what move you were going to try and do to him.
Literally. And then obviously when he hit me with the spear, I was already like elevated to do the punch, so it weren't just like a normal like flat running spear. Because he's used it a couple of times now, and he's quite like Jey Uso's in the way he kind of jumps into it, kind of. Because I just try and run over him. I don't really think about it too much.
Yeah, I saw the photo of that. It's pretty epic looking.
It was I saw, because it was funny because we hadn't seen the footage. I was like, I wonder how that looked, and then we saw that picture that picture that was shared, and we're like, oh, I think based off the picture, I think it must have looked pretty good. And then I think somebody shared a fan video of it a couple of days later, and it looked pretty good, I think.
Yeah, Ryan shared that video to me. What for Rick Markus? Where did that doubt come from? Because he had Ryan, he had RPD down, he had the knuckle dusters on. The referee was obviously trying to stop him, but there was Ryan was talking to you and telling you, like, you don't need to do this. Yeah, why did that doubt, and where did it come from?
He said to me, he said you're just going to be a coward all your life, or you're going to be a coward again, or something like that, or do eat the coward or something. And I think the lead up to it, when you've been fighting with someone for that long, and it's almost like anger's gone now, and you kind of not forgot what you were fighting for, but you get to that point where you remind yourself why you were friends and then rivals in the first place. So when we're saying we're not that different, and like we're not, and in that moment, it didn't, even though you know, cheated's a loose term, but you know what I mean, done what I've needed to do the last couple of years. It didn't feel right in that moment to just get myself disqualified again. And there was just that element of I think respect for him, to be honest. You know, he was one of them like what are we even fighting for anymore? Because obviously when we were both stood in the ring, just before I slapped him, we were saying this is what like I was saying. I said just look around, like look at like the 25 minutes. People have been going absolutely mad after a long show, and they're still super loud for this. We're at the top. We've done this 3 years in a row. Is this not what we actually wanted? And whether he likes to admit it or not, I believe if I didn't do what I did a couple of years ago, me and him would not have been elevated to the point we're at now, or we're at a couple of weeks ago. So, you know, great friends, better enemies, I suppose, and we've definitely elevated each other's game now. So, you know, there was a lot of hate, a lot of anger, a lot of, you know what I mean, jealousy on my part, perhaps, that I feel like we could have done all that together. We could have won tag titles. We could have done all that. And it ended up more about him, and the crowd loved him. You know, it's like the start of Rocky 3 where Paulie ends up smacking that bloody pinball machine, and that's kind of how I was feeling, to be honest. You know, and I genuinely believe that he thought he was bigger than what he was, because people were feeding his ego to make him feel like he was bigger than what he was, and I just wanted him to stay grounded. And then I felt justified in what I did at the time. And then I feel like in the 2 years this has been going on, last year I got him angry, I got him mad. You guys kept calling him Dark RPD and that because I was getting in his head.
You still want that?
You were so close. You were so close, Rick, to doing it.
Oh, I mean, I nearly had him, didn't I? Yeah, and through that, and him coming out and realizing that's not actually who he is, but to find another level of himself that's more true to him, to who he is, to then finally beat me I can live with that. I can't live with that. I'm not as upset as I could have been.
Yeah. Does that explain I don't know how many people caught it, but there was a little nod at the end before you left the ring to him.
What are you on about?
The adrenaline rush, that one.
Yeah, I was just shaking because my sore neck.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was one of them that I like. Yeah, it was just the respect. It was just a bit of respect that I feel like he's on a whole different. I feel like he's on a whole different level now, and I'd like to think that I played some kind of part in that, and that little nod was kind of my way of saying, do you know what I mean? Like this is what you were always meant to be. So, you know, that might actually sound quite arrogant of me. That it's kind of like, look, I did this for you, because I fucking didn't. Do you know what I mean? I did it because I wanted to at the time, but it turned out all right in the end for him.
No, you never sound arrogant. That's fine.
You know, but I think our status as wrestlers in not just Odyssey but in Morecambe now, I feel like we've both made our mark, and I feel we needed each other to take that to the next level, because even when he won the championship before and he was making the defenses and things like that, to have something so bitter and deep, I think, like I said, just brought the best out in both of us.
Yeah, I've not been to every indie promotion across the country, but I very much doubt there's many that have ran the biggest show of the year and the same match on 3 consecutive years as a trilogy with an overarching story across them. I can't imagine there's many that are brave enough. It's probably the word. They're brave enough to do that.
Yeah.
There's the risk of it's that again.
Oh, arrogant.
Cena and Orton again. But it didn't.
And to get a better reaction each year. as well. So,
yes,
but obviously, I was apprehensive about that because I was like, you know, did he want to see this again? Did he need to see it again? You know, and then there's also that part where it's like other wrestlers like whatever might think, you know, the main event again. But to me, like, get that reaction.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, step up.
Unlike other promotions, the story justified it and required it, I guess. Like,
yeah. So pulling the curtain back a little bit, though. To be fair, the last man standing wasn't going to be the main event.
that was Decker's decision, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Decker's decision last year. The main event of that War on the Shore was penciled in to be Craig Collins against Will.
Yeah.
Because Will had won the title in the December and was up, like,
yep.
like you guys were at that show, weren't you?
Yeah.
That's when we did the recorded podcast in the hotel. And your mum was there.
Of course, yeah. So that was wild. So the idea for that one was me and RPD were going to open, and Will and Craig were gonna finish the night, and then obviously, unfortunately, Will had to, step away because of his neck, and then Decker won the title. So Decker didn't feel like there was enough equity in that story yet for that. But then again, their match, this War on the Shore, was a rematch. So when you tell the story, tell the stories, and like the crowd are into it, and you're invested in it, and you believe in it yourself, and it's just not two people thrown together. Like, if people were sick of it, then we wouldn't have had a sellout plus show at War on the Shore. People wanted to see what was going to happen next. And Craig and Decker started the show, and like I watched it on the screen out the back, and I was like, Jesus Christ! Like, they came back. I was like, first thing I was like, he's all right. And then, you know, the whole show. The whole show was just wild. It was just wild, and just you kind of backstage try to see what's going on and that, and then look at like try to time your warm up, because the thing is, because I'm not 21, it's like I have to warm up, I have to stretch, and if I don't time that right, then I have to do it all again or do parts of it again. So then when there's the Morecambe title match and the entrances are taking longer than the actual match, I'm like, Christ, I'm trying to warm up here, like So
I was gonna say, how hard is that? Obviously, being part of the backstage, like an important part of backstage, but then also knowing that thank you for the house, you're the main event, like you're the top billing of the card. How hard is that to manage?
It's not too bad, because everyone that we have there is sound as a pound. Do you know what I mean? There's never any major issues. Greenwood's brilliant as well, by the way. Like, he's a bit of an unsung hero when it comes to stuff like this. But not just Greenwood, because he's not always at all the shows. But Steve Grimshaw was actually poorly that weekend, so he was meant to be there. Steve's brilliant. You know what I mean? James was talking about how to do it, so it's like they really keep on top of stuff, keep on top of the timings and all that. So they almost make it easy, like, so we kind of know what the flow of the show is going to be. They're on the walkie-talkies in the ref's ear, making sure that it's like, people are sticking to times and that. They don't always listen. But at the end of the day, we're not a TV show that needs to hit commercial at a certain time. Like, the venue get upset with us if we go on past 9:30, so we usually try and make sure we're done by then. But then obviously when you're doing the main, you're keeping your eye on the clock, because you're like, so if anything, I'm probably a bigger nightmare than anyone else, because I get at Ethan and Decker and say right, you know what I mean, are we good, are we on schedule here and that. So but then I get a bit worked up, because I just don't want to let the crowd down, let the opponent down. And so it can be quite stressful. It can be quite stressful.
I suppose there's something to be said for going on first, because it's it's out the way, isn't it? You can sit back and enjoy the show.
You remember, like from Set Sail onwards, I used to just do the opener all the time. Loved it. The show was me and Lance, and then I done an opener with Decker. Like I did an opener with Sam Bailey, an opener with 2-Bit. Like Teddy Raey, sorry, I think it was 2-Bit then. I love the opener. Because I know when to start warming up. I can go, I could do it, I could get back, I could get changed, I could watch the rest of the show. Quite chilled.
Sounds ideal.
Last couple of years, obviously, it's been quite main event heavy, which is also great as well, though, because you know when you're a kid and you see people in them spots, and you know what I mean. It's obviously a hugely different scale or whatever, but when it's condensed into there, and you've got the smoke machines going and the entrance videos and your music and you step out and that, and it's like everyone's watching and everyone's there, 200 240 people or whatever, and it's like I never take for granted that, like, when I was a kid I wanted to be a wrestler, so it's cool standing there and being like, people have come and paid money to watch like me do this, and I'm just a kid in my head who's just a wrestling fan, so, and that's another reason why it's I don't I don't know if I'm going to come back, because I'm kind of at peace with it. I kind of like, I've done everything I wanted to do, and that was a special moment. So unless I think there's something there that could perhaps top it, but as far as I'm concerned now with that, like I say, Ryan's got the title back, like I always wanted to get to the top in Morecambe, and now I've done it. I'm quite happy with that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if I need a 12-month retirement run, kind of, do I get to the top again and all this kind of stuff. I don't know if I've got the energy for it, to be honest.
Seen it all.
Yeah, so unless there's something or someone there that makes me feel that I can go and have that feeling again, I don't know. And that's genuine as well. That's not.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn up at Mutiny and jump out at someone and that.
After last time, I don't believe anything you say. I'm fully expecting.
Like I said, don't take my word for it, because you know what I mean. I'd like to think that you just know I'm a fairly decent person, but like I wouldn't believe a word I say when it comes to
wrestling. You might get another challenge while you're on holiday again. You're enjoying retirement.
Well, I'm going to Florida this summer, so if Ethan calls me there, we can wait until I get back.
Time delays there.
That was one of the reasons why I'm definitely done for this period of time, because like I love theme parks.
Oh yeah,
I've never been to America, at all. So we'll go, like, me and my wife and stepson will go to Florida this summer, and if I wrestled just before it and got myself injured, and I'd be losing out on the money on the holiday, and I believe divorces are fairly expensive as well. So
yeah, congratulations, because it's quite recently married, wasn't it? And you were champion at the time, the wrestling main event.
Yeah, right. So I
mean, you're worried about holidays. I was more like, you wedding?
Yeah, it's wild, actually, because now you say that, it was like a week before the wedding when I won it. So, like,
oh really? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, genuinely more concerned. Yeah, 100%. Genuinely more concerned about Florida than I was my own wedding. I never thought of it like that, but you're right. Because I convinced her, no, I'll be fine. I'll do this. But to be fair, I just came out of the crowd, didn't I? Like,
true. Yeah, it was a cash in, wasn't it?
Yeah, I made it clear that nobody's hitting me.
At my stag party, we did wrestling training at Preston, didn't we?
Yeah.
And I've got a history of like injuries. I was like, oh, this is great, but also
John has no knees.
Yeah, concerning I might be hobbling down the aisle.
Yeah, it hurts. It hurts.
It was brilliant, that training, because it was about 15 I was there in total, and obviously there's like me, Joe, John, Butcher, who did your designs and stuff. Yeah. So there's like this third of us who were like hardcore wrestling fans, and then the others who were like the typical, wrestling, that's not real. And then by the time they finish the training, they're like, oh my God. So what we're doing is some rolls and falling off the ropes and stuff like that.
Who ran that? CJ Banks?
Oh, I can't remember. I remember we interviewed him as well, I'm pretty sure, not long after. He was a young lad.
Yeah. He was great. I just can't think of his name.
He's only a young lad. He's wrestled at Bolton Town Wrestling and stuff like that.
All right.
As well. Right. Yeah, he put on a really good session, but the amount of respect that everybody left there with that we already had.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's mad. It's mad because when I first started out training, obviously like it was at Knockout, it was at Knockout Wrestling in Barrow, and then that's what. No, sorry, when I first started training, that it was up in Morecambe, and I went through with Craig Collins and Sean Basie. That's when I first wrestling trained. Then I stopped. And that's when I found Knockout Wrestling, started training there, and that was with Chris Ridgway, was living in Barrow at the time. He's from there, and so them sessions were pretty intense straight from the off. And then I was traveling up the coast to Whitehaven to train at Johnny Moss's, who's obviously coach at the Performance Centre now. His sessions were brilliant because that was really learning the fundamentals of how to roll, how to hit the ropes, how to actually lock up with intensity and work holds and everything like that. So it weren't like some of the training sessions you see now where it's just like practice matches and stuff like that. It was actually learning how to do it and how to do it safely and how to do it within, so it looks super intense. And I'm going somewhere with this. There was a seminar up there with Bob Holly.
Oh, nice.
And I hadn't long started, and it was absolutely wild because obviously you seen him on Tough Enough when he put the boots to that lad and everything like that. So I was thinking, oh Christ, is he going to be an asshole? And he was intense, but he was cool and learned a lot as well. So yeah, it was good. It was good.
That's really cool. Desperate trying to find that guy now. That did the training for us.
I'm half looking too. Yeah, he deserves a shout out again. I can't remember. Yeah. How did you find your run as champion? Correct me if I'm wrong. We had defenses against Decker, Nate, which also kind of tied into RPD. He brought out some high school law there, I think. Joey Hayes, and then obviously Ryan and RPD himself. How did you find the run?
Yeah, it was everything I want. It was everything I wanted it to be. Like I say, how long? It was about 8 months, I think, something like that. So it was obviously wrestling Decker 1-on-1 was great because we'd done one before, but that was after I made a comeback after he dinked me with that bottle. So that dynamic was, he was the heel and I was the face. So we both changed a lot in that time. So when I first came back, it was a bit of a squash match. I came back, put the boots to him. It was a bit of a brawl and quite a quick one. Whereas this one was we finally got to do, a really good match after I screwed him and Ryan at the show before. So that was great. And then who was my next one against?
Nate Reese.
Nate Reese. Yeah, so it was
Joey.
Yeah, let's just make sure I didn't miss anyone. Yeah, Nate Reese. That was really good as well. Because Nate had just come off the back of finally beating Mickey Barnes, if you remember, after taking so many disgusting last rides off him for about 6 months.
Yeah, that poor man.
I was like, Nate, watch your neck, man. He's gonna Mickey Barnes, by the way, is one of the best heavyweights around. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, I love him.
Unbelievable. So that with Nate as well. Obviously, because of his history with Ryan, it was important to to make people believe that he could do it as well, because we appreciated the fact that, you know, I just attacked him, but he'd come off that win with Mickey Barnes, so it was important to us to make sure that there was something going into that, and we weren't just shoehorning him in. And it turned out to be like one of my favorite matches. You know, it was really, really good. He's so talented. He's the way he fires up. There's not many like him. You know,
yeah, it's brilliant.
He's like a wasp.
It's a good way of putting it.
In the rumbles and that, it's always like there's no like light and shade with him. It's just like, you know what I mean? Like wildfire is the right thing for him, and I thoroughly enjoyed that match. It was the first time in a long time as well. This little run was the first time in a long time that I got to do some singles matches, really, because I was in knockout wrestling. I was tag teaming with Craig, and we'd won the tag titles there. So I was doing a lot of tag matches there. And then in Morecambe, I had an unsanctioned match, last man standing match, a cash in.
Yeah,
so at this point, I hadn't done a singles match in about a year, because I stopped taking bookings at other promotions about 2 years ago. Like, I stopped accepting other bookings because I simply weren't enjoying all the traveling and everything, and getting married and so it was like, knockout wrestling was great. It's my hometown. I get to travel home, see my family, do a wrestling show, and then Morecambe, because obviously I've got, an investment in it, and also I love it. So they were the only ones. So I hadn't done a singles match in about a year. So to get to do these matches was great. And then when it came to Joey Hayes, I always wanted that match, and we were at Brian Aidenson's wedding a few years ago, me, RPD, Joey, and I said to him there, I'd love to wrestle you one-on-one, because we'd only done a multi-man against each other, and that was my first ever war on the shore. And I was so happy with that match. I was so happy. And then when we went backstage, that was the opener as well, so I got to do an opener, which was great. Didn't have to worry about anything else for the rest of the night. Apart from that spot at the end of the Rumble. But I wanted to do that match because I wanted to prove I could hang with the best. Because I didn't really overly, as I started getting more bookings, and then I stopped taking bookings and just did them ones, I wanted to prove that, like, I'm as good as anyone when it comes to wrestling, when it comes to storytelling, when it comes to intensity. And I know that he wrestles all the time with so many people. So after, speaking to him, and the feedback we got, it was very gratifying for me. That it's like, no, because I was doubting myself at times, like, do I even deserve to be in this position? Am I good enough? So to do that match with him meant a lot to me, because I was like, no, I am at this level. I do fucking deserve this. So that night actually meant a lot to me. And then to, like, finish it all off with Ryan, who's, genuinely over the last 7 years become one of my best friends. Like he's my best friend in wrestling by a country mile, and, like, outside of wrestling, he's become one of my best friends. He was at my wedding, despite us hating each other. He was at my wedding.
To redo the seating plans.
Yeah, to redo the seating plans while they sat in the corner. So that it was all special. It was a real special run for me, and I knew that it'll be the last, because I lost the tag titles in Knockout Wrestling. That was my last match at Knockout Wrestling. That was in November last year. I did that, and then spoke to the promoter and said, that'll do me now. Like I said, won the title there, won the showcase title a couple of times, was a tag team champion. So I was kind of like, I'm happy. I feel accomplished. It's a 4-hour drive. It was like, it was just a lot. And then obviously busy, real life stuff as well. So, so I knew I'm like, that'll be it for titles now. So, like, and to kind of do that with Ryan was really, really special.
It was a hell of a run, I must say. So credit to you, and you definitely do deserve to be in that spot and giving everything that you did.
Genuinely surprised me. You said you weren't taking bookings anywhere else. Like I wouldn't have thought. Wouldn't have realised that.
Yeah, no, I stopped taking like any bookings anywhere else. It was more like, yeah, it was more. I was getting to that point where it was never gonna, like, I'm too old to be making it, if you will. Do you know what I mean? Or going to the States or traveling abroad, and because I'm busy with coaching business and things like that, I can't afford, like, through the week I'm super busy. Like, I'm non-stop. Like, John, you know what I mean? If someone me, I'm straight back to them. I jump on calls with them. Like, I work all day every day. And then when I'm away at weekends, it's like I weren't getting to spend proper time with my wife or anything like that. So now when it was Barrow and Morecambe, it was once a month. Then it was Morecambe, it was once every 2 months. So it just gives me my weekends back to either work or spend time with my family, which was important to me. If I was 22, I'd be like, look, I'm going to really give this a shot. So that was kind of why I stepped back in that regard.
Oh, makes total sense. I just wouldn't have known it from your ring work,
I appreciate that, because that's another thing I worry about. It's like the first bump I took against Ryan, the last bump I took before that was against Joey. I haven't been to a wrestling training session or anything in between. So I'm always like, shit, can I even do this? Like, and then getting just like
all comes back.
Riding it's like, just go and be an asshole and enjoy doing it. You know what I mean?
Prefer being a heel.
Yeah, I love it.
Especially at Morecambe, surely.
I love it. It just comes to me so naturally. Because the good thing about being a heel is you can say what you want to say and pretend it's your character. I mean,
yeah. Wouldn't say that normally.
Yeah, apart from that knobhead that was sat behind you, that was nothing to do with character. That was he's been dealt with. Yeah, for the record, by the way, I haven't bumped him off or anything like that. So that sounds like
I'm waiting for you.
He bumped off the list. He won't be coming to any more shows. So we had a couple of issues with him in the past. Try to sitting there with his hood up and his elbows on his knees like he's Eminem or something like that. You know what I mean? Like
there's a weird set of wrestling fans that want to get themselves over or something. I don't know.
He sat there with his girlfriend. She must have been embarrassed, and he called me. He called me a knobhead, right? Which some shows doesn't matter. It's not hurting my feelings calling me a knobhead. I've been called a lot worse, and then I found out later on he was you know what I mean, rhymes with maggot and tough. You know what I mean? He was
that's
saying
not
he was saying that kind of I didn't know that. I didn't actually realize that. It was only when I listened to when I rang you, didn't I? After and then when I listened to the podcast back, I didn't realize when I was doing that stuff with the knuckle dusters that he was, you know what I mean, calling me gay or whatever.
I missed the whole finish. Me and Joe.
Yeah, which is weird to insult someone like that because it's not an insult. So it's
I was going back through my videos. I was like, oh, there's the video. That's why I stopped watching. So I was like, well, it's on video in case he denies anything. Yeah. But no, what upset me is a family show, and there's two young girls sat next to me who were chatting, and they turned around and go, why is he so upset with you? Like, you've only called him a cheese puff. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, no. And then when it got a bit misogynistic, I was like, nah, if people in the crowd don't stand up to stuff, then nothing.
If it's an over 18 show, then great. Do you know what I mean? But there's families back then. It's like, we want people to come back and not think that there's knobheads there that are shouting that kind of stuff. Like, give us a hard time all you want. Like, obviously, them Lancaster Wrestling Society guys are chanting Barrow Baldy at me and all that kind of stuff. Cool, love it, and it's factually correct, so there's no comeback to that. So that's fun. Like when they're chanting that and Joey's doing the 10 punches, slapping the top of my head, we're having a good time. Like when you're saying stuff like that, and then obviously semi in character, I said to him, call me that outside at 10 o'clock. Credit where it's due, he tried to, do you know what I mean? So
when stuff like that happens, because it will happen when you see stories of stuff that's happened across the country. Does it take you out of how hard is it to then get yourself back into the match? Because obviously it pulls you out momentarily.
The hardest thing is to not do what you're having to go at him about. So not to swear at him is the hardest thing. Because when he's shouting that, like, all I want to say back to him is, shut your mouth or I'll smash your fucking face in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So like that's the hardest thing. It doesn't really take me away from the match. It was more when the show finished and I found out he was waiting outside and he was trying to figure out me and that, like, and then, you know what I mean? I like, he's obviously an idiot. So I don't know if he got something on him or out. So I said to Decker, I said, go and make sure he's gone. You know what I mean? Because if I go out and he's there, last thing I want to do is scrapping outside the Alhambra with some fan. I've got better things to do in the day, So yeah, then like even
Vicky would have him.
Yeah, well, like I don't want to be that guy, like, but I'd eat him alive, I think. But then in real life, when you're not a wrestler, you get arrested for that and lose your career. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it wasn't really an option. So yeah, it was just a shame that it happened. It hasn't affected ticket sales for Mutiny because they're flying up already. So I'll be watching from afar. Like I say,
don't believe a word you say.
Yeah, you guys will take that with a pinch of salt. Expect me to come out. What would I get involved in? Go on. You guys are the ones that usually catch when I'm gonna do things and that. Like, what would I get involved in?
I don't know right now. I mean, one of the questions my son did have, and
go on, ask away.
Was, no, you say you've done everything in wrestling, but he really wants Born Ready to win the tag championships.
That's what I wanted.
So down the line, when Ryan's no longer champion, could we see a dark Born Ready?
Yeah.
He only wants to do it if we're here. Yeah, dark Born Ready. We could have had that 2 years ago.
Yeah, we thought that's where it was going.
Yeah, but could you really pay for Morecambe to be rebuilt when the fans have burnt it down?
You know what, right? Curtain peeler here, right?
Yeah.
But we couldn't do it.
I know.
We couldn't do it because GPW doing it at the moment. He's doing an incredible job at it. He is doing an incredible job at it. They've got
Joe and Theodore were there for that thing.
He sent me the video the other day and I had to watch. Like, I was like, oh my God, you make such a good arsehole. I was like, I felt like a proud dad.
Arsehole school. Yeah.
It's like if we could have done that, I would have loved every second of it, to be honest. But all that depends. All that depends. It's got to be right. It's got to be the right opponents. I wouldn't want to just
for the sake of it.
Do it and just do it as a
like a Cena heel turn.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Or we come back and you know what I mean. I come back and then he joins me as Born Ready and we go on a tear and do it. But then like who with? Do you know what I mean? Because we've always had each other to kind of almost be against. It's like I don't know. I'd say never.
Yeah.
In the sense, because I'm like I said to you, I'm not saying I'm retired. I'm just saying there's nothing like, and this is behind the scenes as well, where it's I am taking some indefinite leave from all sides of wrestling. Like, you know what I mean? Even doing this tonight was like I'm just honouring what I said I'd do for you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Yeah, so like I need. It's been 11 years, and I just need some mental space from it all. Really, that's it.
Could you before you leave the backstage stuff? My brother-in-law would kill me if I didn't say this. So Darren, who's at the shows, his favorite wrestler in the whole of the indie scene is Teddy Raey. That man gets very upset every show when his man doesn't win. Put in a good word for Teddy. We'd love to see him with some championship gold, or because he's like the Danielson of. I think I said on the pod. I don't think it's a mistake that so many wrestlers have the best match with him that we see. He's phenomenal.
So Teddy Raey, he when I started training in Barrow, he was one of the trainees when he was like 13 years old. So there was him, Lucas Dion, and Will Carter. They were in the same class at school, them three.
Oh.
So like they all came through like the knockout thing. So when I started when I was like 27, they were like 13 years old. So they were just little kids at the trainee school and that. And then they came up, all done great stuff. But Eddie moved to Manchester, started doing the Future Shock and that, and then obviously did some shows with us at the start, and then he went away to Australia. And I feel like since he's changed to Teddy Raey rather than 2-Bit, and he's come back and like he's got this blend now where he's doing really good character stuff, but his wrestling's really good as well. But he's also fun, like doing that and like laying there with his legs out the ring for 10, 15 minutes. like it's so good. It's so good. Because what I like is when people do shit that I don't know that's going to happen. Like, as long as it's good. If it's bad, then it does my fucking head in. But like, you know, like a lot of the stuff with Will and Isaiah Quinn and all that, I had no idea this shit was going to happen. Like, there was, you know, I had obviously like, you know, match wise and all that, you know, but like when promo videos were happening, they were doing stuff backstage. Like even all this stuff with like Aldovia and that now, like different, not the same person, but like
we did interview Isaac Quinn.
Honestly, that guy is a genius. By the way, like he's a genius.
I don't know if you saw in our stories, my son and his cousin. I've got a shirt made up, personalized shirt, which is where Isaiah Quinn was reviewing. He's doing Snackdown on Instagram, and he did party rings, and they've got a still from that, and they put it on a shirt, which they're going to wear at the next show.
Yeah, honestly, so that I actually joined a faction with Isaiah Quinn when he was still wrestling just before COVID, but then that particular promotion shut down. So I was gutted really because I was going to be doing a bit of fun, like as one of his disciples.
Oh, that would be amazing.
That would be cool. Yeah. That match with Will Carter is there's been many highlights at OPW. That's what was like WrestleMania 40 with everything that happened there. That was like I was watching it live.
It was so cool because it was like, right, how can we do this because Isaiah Quinn, I like had to retire from in-ring stuff due to neck problems. So it was like, how do we do this? Like, make him champion even though he can't wrestle, and put on an unbelievable main event. And that's what is so good about storytelling. They had this crew with him, the way he kicked him out, the way they did the book and all that. Like, it was so like they came in the freak show. They were meant to be our little like
Dark Order
entertainment stuff on the side. Do you know what I mean? And then they ended up being the main event. So then obviously, like from a background thing, when we're sitting and we're writing this, we're like, right, how do we intertwine what's happening with me and Ryan and the belt situation to make them the top of the card so we can go off to do our thing? Because at that point, it just became undeniable that Will's going to have to be champion at some point. So they were never meant to be in that position, and they were just that entertaining and that good that they got to that position. And that's what I talk about when it's like step up. Do you know what I mean? There's spots there, and it's like people work hard to get booked on loads of different promotions and that, which is fantastic, and you can't knock people for it. But if you really put the effort in at every promotion and act like that's the place you care about most, you can go to the top, and that's they appreciate that in Morecambe. They appreciate everyone going the extra mile, you know, and people can say what they want about RPD. There's a reason he wins titles everywhere he goes.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not just that he's an incredible athlete, a great wrestler, you know what I mean, decent looking lad and that. Like, that's not just the reason. He puts the effort in with every single fan. He cares about every single match. He's the only wrestler I know that calls people well in advance to discuss how they want to do it, what kind of story they want to do, and that to make sure that people are entertained. You know, he's never turned up at a show and gone, "Oh, we'll do whatever tonight." Do you know?
Call it on the fly, yeah.
Yeah, like whether it was wrestling progress or whether it was wrestling for Knockout Wrestling and Barrow, whether it was doing extra work on WWE, he puts the same effort in for every single crowd. And obviously, like Wrestle Island, PCW,
some Bloodsport as well.
Or Bloodsport, he gets these opportunities because he understands that you have to put maximum effort into everywhere you are and treat it like it's the biggest one. And that's what he's done.
Yeah, he's had a good mentor in Sir William Regal to cement that message into him as well. Like, he doesn't just give out advice to any old person. So
absolutely, and obviously, like, it was a sequence of events that led to him meeting him, but like, they're still in touch now as friends because he's just a good human. You know, like, it makes me sick to say it. Like,
you were doing so well there, so well.
Yeah, he's an asshole, but like, yeah, you know, he's champion for a reason. You know, and he's champion everywhere else for a reason as well. So, yeah. So let's not close on that though. Me praising him, Christ.
No, I was going to say. Well, before I do the last question, I found who the person was who trained us, and actually, I think there's a link to Morecambe as well, because he, as a 13-year-old, he used to commute to Morecambe. It's Philip Michael.
Oh, Philip Michael, yeah. So, yeah, Phil Michael's a brilliant wrestler.
He's
brilliant.
great, yeah.
Like from a technical standpoint, he's one of the best. He's very, very good. He was the champion of that promotion where me and Isaiah Quinn were in that faction.
Yeah. Yes, he was.
Oh, that's cool.
He was a great. I remember his interview quite well because he very unexpectedly. So obviously, you talk about your journey in it and all that stuff, but he actually started opening up about mental health and the anxiety that he faced in terms of performing and not feeling he was good enough, and what he did to overcome that. And like, we were just kind of sat there like trying not to cry while he opened up, because we were like, and just being quiet because we like got to let him speak here. It was
we're
quite
idiots,
a powerful
so,
interview.
Yeah,
I haven't seen him in Christ. I haven't seen him since before COVID, I don't think.
But yeah, he did the training session for John Stagdy.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant.
Yeah. So to wrap up, you kind of led us there then. So this might sound a bit wild when I say it. I mean, coming up to this summer is half a decade of Odyssey Pro Wrestling.
Mad, isn't it?
Yeah, 2021, wasn't it? August 2021. So where do you see the next 5 years going for the company? How far do you think you've come in that 5 years, and what's the next 5 years going to look like?
I think as a company, it's been incredible. Like, a lot of wrestling companies come and go. I'm very proud of what we've created there. I'm very proud of the fact that the majority, like I said, the overwhelmingly vast majority of the crowd are repeat customers. And we've had some brilliant people come through. We've had some, and now we've got guys that are coming towards the end of the time now. Do you know what I mean? So, like myself, for example, you know what I mean? Whether this is it or whether there is another run, maybe, you know, nearly 40, you know, coming up to 40 years old. Ryan's the same age as me. Decker's a similar age to me. So there's these spots now that are coming up, and we've got some really, you know, exciting talent coming through as well. You know, it's like, you know, some people have lost, it's somebody else's gain. You know, obviously, the stuff with Rogan at the last show, that was all last minute. So I think you actually got it wrong on your podcast, by the way. That wasn't HMD that got involved.
Yeah, we've been informed by.
So this was a young trainee that was available that morning to travel down with him, and then he turned up and he just happened to be 6'3" and 17 years old. I was like, what the fuck is this, lad?
When we were recording the review, I just went and found his Instagram, and I was like, it says he's 17.
What?
I said to myself, how old are you, mate? He says 17. I was like, wow. I was like, so much talent. And like Rogan's got his training school. He's got some good trainees that we're looking at. We want to give a platform for people, that are coming through as well as some of the incredible people we've already got there. You know what I mean? The likes of Joey Lana and guys like that as well. I just see it from going strength to strength over the next couple of years. What happened, whatever happens, myself, Liam, Ethan will be going more into, our actual roles of looking after the place rather than being so heavily involved in the, because like you said before, it is a difficult, it is a juggling act at times. When you want to make your thing the absolute best thing, and then you've got other things to consider throughout the show. So like when we're getting phone calls in the morning and people can't make it, or stuck on motorway, or we need to change this, or it's like, I'm like, fucking hell, I don't need the stress, but it's what we signed up for. So I think it's just going to go strength to strength. And I'm excited to see where it goes. It's like we already have a good idea what's happening over the next 18 months, so who's going to be, climbing up the card, as long as they're worthy of it as well. Do you know what I mean? We've got a skeleton in, but like people, like I said, Will was never meant to be at the top, but got there because he became undeniable. So I'm excited to kind of see who steps up now. Obviously, like I say, Ryan's got the championship at the moment. Like I'm like moved away from that now, so it's like now's the time to see who's next, really. Yeah. So it's exciting.
You got the other Ryan back as well.
What's that? Sorry.
Said you've got the other Ryan back as well. Right, Hunter.
Ryan Hunter.
Yeah.
What happened to him?
I know.
He was wicked seeing him back on it. Like, he looks incredible as well. I'm so happy for him.
Yeah. We had new merch, and I said, "Oh, it'd be so funny if he just went heel again." Because when he did it first time, he had a new shirt, and everyone bought it, and then they were ripping it off. I was like, "Please do that again." That would be so funny.
Yeah, like Ryan hadn't wrestled or wrestling trained because he'd been doing all the boxing and that since he last wrestled before he went traveling. So like 2 years ago, that was the first time he was back in the ring, and he was unbelievable. He was doing stuff he used to do when he was 18 years old, doing like the springboard kicks, and the Hunter's arrow he did at the end was
crisp,
like so smooth, and even when he had his championship run, he'd like, what I mean, obviously, like by his own admission, he'd put a bit of weight on, and that weren't feeling great about himself. And now he's in great condition. He's smashing people up in the boxing ring as well. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool to see because we've got another big name back, and people forget because Hunter's been there so long. He's only about 27 years old. He's not.
Is it?
He's not like our age. So like if he wanted to, for the next 5 years, he can be at the top again. No. Which is exciting.
No, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, very.
That's cool. Speaking of boxing, you had a match, didn't you?
Me and Hunter.
No, a boxing match. Didn't you have a boxing match?
Yeah, I don't like to brag about it, but I'm the only Odyssey wrestler with 100% knockout rate. That as you will. You know what I mean? So, RPD hasn't got that. Hunter hasn't got that. Hunter's got a 100% record like me, but not 100% knockout. I've only boxed once, though, and I've retired from that now.
Yeah, I was going to say, have you retired undefeated?
Retired undefeated. Very like in the similar ilk to Mayweather, Calzaghe, Halfpenny. Like these the names.
Those are the names that you're among, yeah.
Do you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was a buzz. It was scary. It was scary because it was I enjoyed it once the first minute was gone, and I was kind of finding my flow a little bit. Because when we were sparring, because it was white collar stuff, you spar against all the guys, and then you get paired off like people similar, age and size and that. So the guy was a little bit older than me, but he was a little bit heavier than me, and I was the next eldest, which makes me feel old. But when we sparred, we were very close and that. But I think on the night, he'd raised a hell of a lot of money for the charity he was doing it for, because it was for a knife crime charity, and his son actually got murdered, which was incredibly sad. And I became really close to this guy that I had to go and punch, which isn't nice. But like, I think the occasion, because so many people were in the crowd, because it was weird. Like, loads of people came to watch him because he's extremely popular. There's 100 odd people that just got tickets to see him. So when I came out, I was getting booed. Like, I felt like
in your element.
Yeah.
But like,
a lot of practice.
In my head, I was like, fuck this. You want to boo me? I'm going to smash your guy up. And then I think the occasion got to him a bit, and I was really pent up. That like the crowd were being knobheads in my eyes. So like, it was kind of the perfect storm. And then when we were, it was a shame actually, because it brought, like, on paper it should have been closer. But he raised about £4,000 for his charity, which was great.
I mean, that's the main thing, right?
That's the most important thing, yeah. Well done on that one.
It just popped up on me. It popped up on me stories, like, like the memories one this morning. Like, I think it was like my final training session a day ago to this day a year ago. So.
Well, damn, I thought it was sooner. I thought it was more recent than that. Well, yeah.
It might be the start of May or something. Like,
yeah.
I think it was like the 4th of May or something like that. I think it was like first weekend of May.
Really love giving yourself new challenges when you got married, didn't you?
I won't be doing anywhere and get punched in the face again.
No, that's fair enough. You mentioned the next 5 years of Odyssey, but immediately coming up, is it the 6th of June? We have Mutiny. What can we be looking forward to there? Because you already said tickets are flying off the shelves.
Have any matches been announced yet?
I don't know.
I am unsure.
I should know this. Obviously, we got the Mutiny match. That was set up at the last show, wasn't it? So that's Troy Ryan and Ethan, but I don't think they've found the partners yet against the Freak Show and the VC, I think.
Yeah.
So that'll be a good one. And then obviously Natalie Sykes turned up and attacked Lana afterwards. So what the ramifications of that going to be? Who's RPD going to defend his title against? Who knows? The Morecambe title, Alexander Gray still held on to that. So, there's a lot of questions going into it, really. And they need to get some matches announced.
Yeah, I just had a quick look then. There's teases, but nothing official that's been announced. Thank you very much. One question, I know I've interviewed you before, but one question generally tend to end these on is like, we got into Indies here about 5 years ago, 6 years ago now. We loved it. Like, this podcast wasn't meant to be about interviewing, it was just us talking shit about wrestling, but this is our favourite thing that we do. Talking about promotions and the amount of people who've messaged and gone, oh, we've gone to a promotion because we heard you talking about it. It's lovely. But you're in it. What would you say to someone who may be listening to this who hasn't been to a show? What would you say to someone to encourage them to just go along and go and watch a local promotion, whatever promotion it may be?
For me, it's like, if you watch WWE or that and you are a wrestling fan, then go along to it, because the important thing is the world right now as a whole is full of hate, it's full of anger, there's people worrying about money, there's people, everything's set up to divide us. If you're left, if you're right, if you've got an opinion on this, it makes you a bad human. If you've got an opinion on this, it makes you a lovely human, blah, 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 blah. You can just go, escape all this nonsense and crap that's happening, suspend reality, and go and be entertained for a couple of hours. And to me, that's what makes it special. When you're watching that, you're not thinking about everything else that's going on. You're not thinking about the stress of the world. If you're an adult listening to this, go and take your kids. you know, get them out of the house, get them off the Xboxes or whatever they're doing, because as you guys would attest to, some of these local promotions are absolutely incredible.
Oh yeah.
And it can be, and it can be really, really special. You know, it's I wish when I was younger I knew more about the UK scene. I didn't even really know it was a thing. I was just a WWE fan, to be honest. WCW fan. Like every now and then, you know, the wrestling would come to our local town and there'd be a Power Ranger against X-Pac.
Yeah.
Which ironically, I've spoke to a couple of people that actually played the Red Ranger since I became a wrestler, so it's pretty funny.
That's amazing.
You know what I mean? Oh, that would have been me. You know what I mean? It's how he's joking, brilliant. So yeah, just go on there. It's just suspends reality. Life's too serious, and like everyone's too angry. Just go and chill the fuck out and watch some wrestling.
It's funny you say that. The last Thursday, me and my lad had gone to have our haircuts, and she knows that we watch wrestling, so she goes, "Oh, you watching any wrestling that's coming up?" And then she said to my son, she went, "Oh, I went to watch a wrestling show the other week." Now I know she's not a wrestling fan. I know she don't watch it. And I was like, "Where'd you go?" And she said, "Southport." And I was like, "Oh, is it Kingdom of Wrestling?" And she was like, "I don't know." I went, "Was it in a food hall?" She's like, yeah, it is in a food hall. She went, I was so surprised. She went, there was loads of people there. They were proper into it. And I was like, did you have a good time? And she was like, yeah, we just wanted to do something different. And we thought we'd go in. And she was like, I was quite surprised at. And this is someone who doesn't watch wrestling, no interest, just wanted to try something. And I was like, there you go.
Yeah, oh, amazing.
That's a Sheriff Steele's promotion, isn't
it? Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate your time, considering you are potentially no longer active there with Odyssey Pro Wrestling. But
I don't believe it for a second.
Play it forever. When you hit that leave button, it'll be the last time you see me, apart from John, who will see me on the check-in on Monday.
You might see me when I've recovered and stuff. I signed up to your 6 weeks program, but your email list so I could see it. And I was like, when I'm physically better, I'll try this. But
shout, mate.
Yeah,
more than
you know that. Yeah, no, congrats on the success of all that, and thank you for the stories you told and the memories you've given us over these last 5 years.
I appreciate you guys are like, you know, if the likes of you guys didn't come, it makes it special for us. Do you know what I mean? When you guys coming on a podcast talking about what we've done, and that you just come back and you're entertained by it. That's what it's all about for us. Without you, there is no show. So
thank you. So yes, thank you everyone for listening. That was Rick Markus, former god of Morecambe.
Only king now.
What's it now? King now of Morecambe. So yeah, thank you everyone for listening, and see you next time.